Best of r/malicious compliance episode 144. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. The sauna better be hot or else you will end up swimming in ice hole. Just found this subreddit and I think that I have a good story for you guys. Sorry for any vocab/grammar errors. So this happened a few years ago when I was in the Finnish Defense Forces. Conscription in Finland is part of a general compulsion for national military service for all adult males. I'm a combat engineer for those who wanted to know. I love explosions, what can I say? Explosions make you feel badass. But this story does not include any explosions. Cast. Me. Yours truly. Corporal. A laid-back guy who commands the squads which I'm part of. Second lieutenant. A man who has mastered roasting. He can spit roasts that feel like third-degree burns in seconds. I still haven't healed from one of them. But also a really great guy who I respect a lot and who could throw some really good jokes too. Commands my platoon. Captain. 6 foot full of muscle and authority and also the captain of my company. Now to the story. It's winter and our company was camping on a 7 days fighting exercise. After one long 12-hour day my squad's corporal comes to me and says, "Corporal, OP, I have a job for you." Me. "Yeah, Corporal. We were in good terms so the convo wasn't so formal as it should have been." "Corporal, we need at least one man to heat a sauna for the higher-ups. Are you up for the task?" Me. "Sure, why not?" "Corporal, the second lieutenant said that they will arrive at 2000 hours, so if you want you can bathe in the sauna before they arrive." Me. "Yes. BTW, can I go to the naffy before I go heat up the sauna?" Corporal. "Sure." I bought a few drinks and some chocolate from the naffy. Upon leaving I met my second lieutenant and some other higher-ups that were going in naffy. I saluted and held the door open for them. "Second lieutenant, OP, I heard that you will be responsible for heating up our sauna. Am I correct?" Me. "Sir. Yes sir." "Second lieutenant, good. The sauna better be hot or else you will have a swimming lesson this evening. Yesterday we made an ice hole in the lake nearby. Understood?" Me. "Sir. Yes sir." The malicious compliance. After chopping a big stack of firewood and bathing in the sauna I remembered my second lieutenant's words about the swimming lessons. At first I thought that it was all just talk and they wouldn't throw me in the lake. Then I thought, oh, wait. That would be exactly something that my second lieutenant would do and I didn't really want to swim in water that was 4 degrees Celsius. 20 degrees Fahrenheit to my American friends. Normally, when a sauna is at 80 degrees Celsius 176.00 degrees Fahrenheit, and you throw water on the sauna stove, the heat feels smooth and gentle. When a sauna is at 100 degrees Celsius 212.00 degrees Fahrenheit, and you throw water on the sauna stove, the heat can sting but feels still good. This is normally the temperature where I like to bathe. But I didn't leave it there. I cranked up the temperature to 110-115 degrees Celsius 230-239 degrees Fahrenheit. When I went inside to check the thermometer, I left the room almost crouching. Then exactly at 2000 hours my second lieutenant and a few other higher-ups came. Among them I noticed the captain of my company. I almost crapped my pants and started to regret my decisions, but what is done is done. I saluted and informed them that the sauna is ready. "Captain, at ease OP. You may leave." Me. "Sir. Yes sir." They entered the sauna and I left. I left fast. I ran faster than I had ever ran. I was the Flash disguised as an engineer. They knew and I knew who was responsible for heating up the sauna. I knew that I was screwed and I thought that I would be cleaning the toilets the whole next month. But nothing out of normal happened in a few last days. After the exercise our platoon was called to auditorium where our second lieutenant told us how the exercise went. The company captain were there too and when the second lieutenant had finished, he walked in front of us and called, "Captain, is Engineer OP here?" Me. "Sir, I'm here." All eyes were fixated on me. "Captain, come here." I said my prayers silently and thought, this is how I die. The captain handed me a coupon to naffy. The coupon can be exchanged for 1 free coffee and donut. I was baffled. "Captain, this is for you. You did a great job in the exercise." I thanked and went back to my seat. Later I learned that the second lieutenant had saved my ass and told the captain that I had followed his commands. The second lieutenant had also requested that I would be given the coupon. BTW. These coupons are a common way to reward privates. The moral of the story, do not play games with your higher UPS. Sorry for the long post and thank you for reading. Thank you. Next. Customer takes manager's advice. A few years ago, I worked at a sporting goods store that sells firearms. Some customers would buy online and have those items shipped to the store and then come in for the background check and pick them up. A customer comes up to the gun counter and says he has an order for pickup. I check the safe and find the guy's firearm and unbox for his inspection to ensure this is what he ordered and it is in good condition, as there are no returns on firearms once they are purchased. This order was for a very nice and expensive Browning Satori over/under 28 gauge shotgun. Of course I get to handle it and admire the beautiful craftsmanship of the inlay on the receiver, as these are rarely seen in the store, especially in 28 gauge. This is the conversation that followed as we're filling out the paperwork. Me, wow, this is truly an amazingly exquisite shotgun. Customer, yeah, it's also the most expensive one you guys have available online, at $2,500. But I didn't pay that. Me, really? Well, if you don't mind me asking, how much did you get this for? Customer, $1,250. Me, what? How did you manage that? Customer, well, I bought a cooler for $100 a few weeks ago and it wasn't big enough so I tried to return it. However, your store's policy dictates that without a receipt it can only be refunded for the lowest sell price in the last 30 days, which at one point was on sale for $70. I wasn't going to take that, so I talked to your manager. After 30 minutes of arguing, he was unwilling to make an accommodation and advised me to call the 1-800 customer service number. So I did. I had to wait on hold for more than 2 hours to talk to a rep, and after explaining what happened I was offered a 50% off coupon on any one item online or in store. Now, I don't really need a new shotgun, but I found the most expensive one to use my coupon on just to stick it to your company for your managers and willingness to return the cooler for full price. Me, that is awesome. What did you do with the cooler? Customer, I returned it and happily accepted the $70. Oh, and if you see your manager, tell him I'd like to treat him to dinner, because calling the 800 number was the best advice he could have given me. Thank you. Next. Regulation haircut. Sure. This was while I was serving my drafted army duty, 1 year conscription in my country. My hair was a bit long before entering and I had to cut it so it didn't reach or cover my ears or the top of the shirt at the back of my neck. At first I didn't mind much, and neither did my fellow draftees. After basic training, however, things started to change. I got some officers who were on power trips and were very meticulous about all the most minute rules. It didn't take long before we got tired of it. At one inspection some of my fellow draftees were told their hair had grown too long and they needed a haircut before the platoon would be given weekend leave. A soldier must always look tidy and spotless, especially when mingling with civilians, they said. At almost every weekend we had leave, they managed to find something that needed improving before they let us go. We were always the last platoon to leave camp and we found we had reached, and crossed, a line and something had to be done. A fellow draftee had a buzz cutter, a small machine that could cut our hair really short. He charged us a small amount to cut our hair if we wanted, but few have used his services until now. So most of us had a regular but short civilian haircut. Almost none had gone for the army look or buzz cut. We read up on the regulations and found that the only relevant points were that hair should not cover even the top of our ears nor touch the shirt and the back of our necks. We also couldn't use bright colors in our hair. QMC. Almost everybody in our platoon decided to join in on the fun and we got creative. There were mohawks aplenty, not all of them symmetrical or straight. Weird patterns were cut, sporadic long and short hair all over our heads. One even made sure to shave a big bald spot in the back, leaving only 2 dots and a horizontal line of hair making a face in the back of his head. The officers were impatient as we took our time getting this done, but they had said something to the likes of "Don't show yourselves here until your hair complies with the regulations." So we let them simmer a bit. We eventually formed up on the parade ground with our berets on, mostly covering our creativity. A few smirks and snickers could be felt among us as we waited for the command to bare our heads for inspection. I will never forget the look on my officers' faces when they realized what we had done and it dawned on them that we were all compliant with the regulations. About half of us kept it up for the rest of our service, trying out various patterns and looks every month or so. It was always a pleasure to see the regret in the eyes of our officers whenever we were indoors and regulations had us go bareheaded without our berets. Particularly after getting a new cut showing of our new patterns and unbridled creativity. It was like constantly rubbing our MC in their faces. When we finally had finished our year of service, one of the officers complimented us on our creativity and perseverance. Thank you. Next. Buy my program when you fire me? No? Okay. Long story short, I was employed at a rather large factory which is one of the largest plant-based companies in the world, recently bought by an investment firm not so long ago. Anyways, I developed a program which was used at the factory. It could tell whenever any machines were not running, even if it was due to a manual stop or anything else. My program knew the reason why the machine was idling. This program made it so much easier for the entire factory. Workers were happy because they didn't need to do any manual work and write down every time the machine stopped. Led up to about a year ago. Factory appoints a new chief. All the old employees that were in a leader position was let go because it was time for new blood to come in. There was a lot of talk about selling off parts of the factory, including machines and so on. This included programs that I had developed, including the program that identified whenever a machine stopped. I developed this program on my spare time, showed it to the old management and they liked it enough that they wanted to use it on every station in the factory. Every machine was to use this program. All that had to be done was for the program to be maintained weekly. This was around 5 years ago or so, when the newly appointed factory chief wanted to let the old employees, me included, leave. It was not known that I was the person behind that program. Anyways, at my meeting with HR and the factory chief I said that I was willing to sell them the program and teach someone how to maintain the program. The factory chief laughed in my face and said it was company property and that it was simply their program and not mine. I offered to show them the source code and everything, but it led up to the point where if I was to tamper with the program before my departure, they would sue me. I was officially let go. 2-month countdown began and after 2 months I was free. After a week or so, they noticed problems with the program. It would stop loading, stop registering stops, and it would mislabel stops. I knew that this was when the fun was about to begin. After a month, I was called into the office and was told that I had tampered with the program because it had suddenly stopped working. I let them know that someone had to maintain it. I was ordered to teach someone how to do that job and I told them after you pay me for the program rights. They wouldn't budge and I was told to return to work. When I had a week left, I strolled around the factory floor for a while and noticed that no stations were running my program anymore. I asked some operators why that was and they told me that it just stopped working. Now we need to fill out forms every time the machine stops manually. I shrugged and told them to thank the factory chief. I left after that week. Got a phone call about a month after I left where they begged me to sell them the rights and teach someone how to maintain it. I never sold them that program. Instead I sold an improved version to another factory nearby, where I am now employed. Edit. I see some are saying that I am in the wrong based on US law. Just editing here to let you know that this did not take place in the US. I made the program during my spare time at home on my own computer. After introducing the program to the former factory chief, I was allowed to try it out on one machine and test it. The maintenance was done on my office computer. After a few months I was allowed to roll it out for the entire factory. It wasn't done overnight. Lots of debugging to do. I have not heard anything from the company for nearly a year, so it would be weird for them to suddenly come after me now. Just wanted to make that clear. Thank you. Next. Never tell me to just get out of the way. I've been reading a lot of posts on here and I do love them. They keep reminding me of so many things from when I was younger. For reference, I am deaf and I think I was about 7. I was raised single-handedly by my dad and for several reasons. Deafness and diabetes. He refused to put me into daycare during the summertime or after school. I had either a nanny or babysitter till I was 14. This particular nanny was one of those who just wanted to watch her shows. She was supposed to help with my homework on this day, which I tried to get her to, but she just didn't want to, I guess. I wasn't the best at reading lips then, so she ended up just writing down "just disappear. I don't want to see you again." Those were the exact words. I grabbed a book, snacks, my meter, insulin pen and a flashlight before hiding. I am good at climbing and climbed up on a shelf in my closet. Unless you specifically look up and at an angle you can't see where I was at. It was my favorite hiding spot then. I stayed there throughout the night. The nanny didn't think anything of it until Dad got off his shift. Dad wasn't able to find me anywhere in the house and then saw what she had written. He called the police. There was a huge search for me all while I was sleeping on that shelf. The next morning I came down when I woke, but since I didn't actually sleep till about 3 AM. To be fair, it was my first Nancy Drew book and I had to figure out the secret of the old clock. LOL. I didn't wake up till around 9 AM. Since I was on the low side, I got down. I walked down the hallway and into the dining room. Dad was talking to several other cops and was overjoyed when he saw me. Then after I ate, I got the lecture of all lectures. He also took that shelf down. As for the nanny, she never did see me again. Thank you. Next. Give us a baby photo. I'm not 100% this is the most appropriate place for this story, but it does fit, so if anyone knows a more suitable place then do tell. In high school, senior year, my graduating class was a wild ride. Our class song was an original from one of us, and our class flower was a cactus. We just went all out on the weird and original. Something a bit less original was the yearbook club, who was going to put together a before and after slideshow, pretty much a baby photo of everyone followed by their graduation photo. Well, I was a bit late submitting my picture and they found me and told me send us a baby photo or we are going to Google Asian baby and the first thing that comes up is yours. Now that by itself is funny simply for the fact that I'm not Asian. Nobody in my school was even Asian. Small school, less than like 30 in my graduating class. Not I don't like pictures of myself, so I don't tend to keep any of them. My mom, however, has a ton of baby photos, as a mother would. I get a hold of her and before I even ask to see any, I know which one I want. My mom is laughing so much about the picture I chose and is loving the idea of it being part of the slideshow. I told all MG friends and family who were going to the graduation. Nobody else knew. To the yearbook's credit, they didn't say a thing about the picture. Day of graduation, we, the class, are all sitting on stage without diplomas and they bring down the projector for the audience. They also rolled out an old TV so we could watch as well, and the queuing begins. All of the families in the auditorium are oohing and eyeing at all the baby photos. Two guys behind me are trying to guess who everybody is before they come up, and to their credit getting most of them right. I know the pictures aren't in alphabetical order, so it's going to be a surprise when it comes up. Suddenly all the cooing stopped and there was a moment of silence before the audience went eeeeew with confusion and discomfort. The boys behind me went who the fuck. Me and my friends are all laughing out hearts out. It changes to my graduation photo. The audience is murmuring. The boys behind me go of course angrily. I found out later that over both photos my mom wanted to hoot and holler but physically couldn't cause she was spending too much effort to not pee her pants from laughing so hard. Now the picture. I don't still have a copy of it but I can describe it. It was my first ever picture, still in the hospital. The background is dark and faded. I am beet red, screaming, and there is just this skin and bones pale hand reaching over me like that of the Grim Reaper. I call it the Crypt Keeper hand. She was the nurse. That photo randomly among normal baby photo that were meant to be cute. Honestly, my greatest high school achievement. I don't like pictures being taken of myself and I don't like seeing pictures of myself, and now everyone who bought a yearbook has to live with that demon picture. Thank you. Next. My brother maliciously complied to my dad's command. So the fallout literally happened 5 minutes ago. My mom, brother and I are reeling with laughter. My family is on a road trip, and we have an ice chest full of drinks. It doesn't fit in the car so it's tied up on the roof of our car. My dad was feeling particularly in a rush to get on the road this morning, so he told my brother just to put the rope over the chest and tie instead of properly tying it down. My brother protested and insisted on tying it down properly so it wouldn't fall off the roof of the car. My dad told him to just do as he said. They continued to argue about it until my brother just sighed. He knew what was going to happen and my egotistical father would rather be on time than do things properly. Of course, my brother was right. The ice chest flew off the top of the car, lost most of our drinks and my dad had to run out in the middle of the highway to retrieve it. Now it's properly tied down and my brother is sitting smugly in the backseat and my dad is usually quiet now, probably from embarrassment.